Samsung, proud sponsor of TechBusters.
Welcome back to TechBusters. Well, very recently we saw probably the biggest leak of celebrity photos in the history of the internet just coming out, and the people hacked into people's accounts and proving once again that in the digital age that you can get into some serious legal trouble at the click of a button. Have no fear though, because help is at hand. Don't film yourself having sex, and other legal advice for the age of social media is a new book by attorneys Emma Sadlier and Tamsin De Beer. And we're very lucky to have Tamsin in the studio with us tonight and talking about the book. It's The Lady in Red. Oh, sorry.
Thank you for having me.
Tamsin, how are you doing? Good evening. Welcome to the studio.
I'm doing very well. Thank you
Nice
for
to
having
have you
me.
with us. What a fantastic book. How did the idea come about?
Well, you know, Emma and I are involved in a lot of educational work. We go around and talk to schools and corporates and parents about the risks that people find themselves facing when they go online and onto social media. And we just found that there was this desperate ignorance around those risks, the legal risks, the disciplinary risks at your employer or your school, and the reputational risks more than anything. And so, well, we thought we can try and speak to everyone in the country, but the best way to actually get the message across, because we feel so strongly about the message, is to write the book.
Look, the truth is that as human beings, I think there's that curiosity. I mean, you're not going to ever stop. Everybody sends, well, not everybody, but many people send saucy pictures of each other while they're in a relationship to their partners. Your partner still has the photographs and your other partner still has the photographs, and when you break up, you don't know what happens to those photographs. So what is your advice to those people? Just don't do it.
Well, there's really two aspects. Of course, we see that we live our lives increasingly online, and courtship is taking place online, and that of course involves the sending of these sexting images. But unfortunately, while the legal principles are there is recourse. These laws of privacy and intellectual property, by applying them, unfortunately, it just shines a bigger light on content that you desperately want to get taken down. And so really the law doesn't provide a very practical way for you to escape the content. And so what we say is, let's rather just not have the content exist at all. And if you do want to take a picture of yourself without your clothes on, make sure that your face and your genitals are not in the same picture, not in the same frame. And that's a good way to escape what we saw, what happened to these celebrities like Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes.
Over 100 people having these intimate images leaked, hacked into the iCloud. It's a good way to escape that. At least don't have your face in the same frame.
Do you have recourse if your partner, for example, once you've split up and the pictures emerge somewhere, do you have recourse? I mean, could you actually sue this person, and could you eventually get rid of those images online, or is that an impossible thing to ask?
Well, the title of the book people think is just a catchy title, but it actually stems from a real case in South Africa of someone my own age who was filmed having sex without her knowledge by her boyfriend. When they broke up 6 months down the line, someone said to her, "Oh, have you Googled yourself lately?" She typed her name into Google and found that he'd shared this video all over porn sharing websites with her first name, her surname, and the company that she worked for tagged.
No ways.
What this meant is that when you typed her name into Google, the first result was her Facebook page, the second her LinkedIn page, and the third to 300th result was this video. Now, like I said, there are legal remedies. It's an egregious violation of your privacy. It can potentially amount to harassment, extortion, intellectual property violation, but these are all public legal procedures. And what that means is that, like I said, the light gets shone on this content and the public finds out more about it. She was desperate for this not to happen, so the only way that she could escape it was to change her name. That was the only practical solution that we could find for her. And so, again, that's where the advice comes from, is that sometimes the law does exist, but it doesn't provide you with the practical solution that you're looking for to undo that reputational harm.
And erasing the digital fingerprint online is virtually impossible. Now, we've touched on the saucy and the sexy and the naughty stuff, but obviously from a reputational point of view, you also appeal to young people. Be careful what you post online. Don't go and post pictures of yourself in raucous parties, because it's going to come back and bite you. And you know what people see of you is an image that they create of you, and it could affect you getting a job in the future.
Absolutely. We see this content of teenagers, stuff that they post when they're 14, 15 years old, coming back to bite them 10 years down the line when they're applying for their first job. You know, when you and I applied for our first job, we had our nice CV on a nice piece of white clean paper, and that was the image that we portrayed to our potential employer. Now, a potential employer has every right to type your name into Google, and if they don't want to invite you in for an interview, they have every right not to do so. And so we're building up this digital dossier of ourselves, and particularly for the children, you've got to feel desperately sorry for them in that every little mistake that they make when they're going through their adolescence
Yeah.
is coming back to haunt them down the line.
So what you're saying to me, that picture that Toby has of me in a red Speedo is not going offline anytime soon?
No, I'm afraid it's there
I'm
to
stuck
stay.
with that for life.
Looks like it.
Well, there you go. The book is called Don't Film Yourself Having Sex, and it's Emma Sadlier, the author, and Tamsin De Beer, who's joined us in the studio this evening. Tamsin, thank you very much. Get this book. It's a fantastic book. Kids, corporates, everyone should be reading this. This is important stuff.